right, guys. Good morning. Welcome into the Hat and Beard Show. How you doing? How you doing? Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you guys want to take a crack at the chat with Mad Hatter Nation. Today, if you guys didn't hear any of the news and scuttlebutt around the NFL, Super Bowl champion Seahawks announced franchise has began a formal sale. Anybody want to buy the Seattle Sea Chickens out there on the wrong coast? Yes. It's always a very good sign, at least on the surface, when a team wins a Super Bowl and then immediately goes up for sale. But there is reasons for it, and we will dive into that a little bit, and then we have a little bit more information to kind of back up the article, the news and notes about the Seattle Sea Chickens sale that's going on. And then because it is the offseason, there isn't a lot of news, so we had to go digging around in the dumpster that is the Pittsburgh Steelers nation. Steelers Hines Ward, Hall of Fame hopes fading as NFL legend Chris Carter points to one brutal reality. And yeah, that is true. We will see what Chris Carter has to say. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with him, but there are some aspects that I don't think Chris Carter's really looking at, so we'll push back a little bit on that as we root around in the dumpster that is Steelers Nation. Then we're going to go to the 313. The Detroit Lions team president Rod Wood is set to retire. The Detroit Lions announced the team president CEO Rod Wood will retire by the start of the 2026 season, which is March 11th, I think is when it officially gets underway. So not a whole lot of time to conduct a search for one of 32. There's 32 teams in the NFL. That means there are 32 jobs in the world that fit for this very specific role. So it will be kind of a very executive, very highbrow, at least in principle. There should be a lot of vetting going on. But I have found an article for you over here at SI.com. The Lions have two clear internal candidates to replace Rod Wood. And boy, oh boy, guys, if it isn't the absolute perfect fit with one of these guys and an even more perfect compare and contrast between where the world is moving as terms of absolute knowledge and understanding of how the industry itself works versus a top-end managerial candidate. We will discuss that, and then if we have time, guys, we will be kicking over to Sergeant Ducky again. I got a funny video for you guys to watch with me if we got time at the end going on over there. Again, we have failed to connect to Rumble because I am a Luddite and don't know what I'm doing over there to save bandwidth. We're going to go ahead and close that out. Make sure that you guys have subscribed to the channel. If you're new here, ring that notification bell so you can be notified every single time we go live Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here at youtube.com. You had to be a subscriber to partake in the chat. It's a low barrier to entry, but I think it's a pretty reasonable price to pay for the valuetainment you get out of us here. You know what I'm saying? So, like this video and share it around with all of your friends. It's the number one thing you can do. Tell everybody you absolutely know about the Hat and Beard Show. Is we need to continue to scrap, claw, and climb our way to the 1,000 subscriber mark. And the only way to do that is with viewers like you helping to elevate and build Atlas-like shoulders and Saquon Barkley-like calves by doing the heavy lifting for me. Share this around with everybody you know, as well as playing a game we like to play with Mad Hatter Nation. As we go article to article, will you do me a favor? Go ahead and slap the share button and copy that link down on your clipboard. Over 75% of you are viewers on mobile, so it's not that hard to do if you wouldn't mind. It's a fun little game we like to play that helps boost us up in the algorithm a little bit during the live show. Guys, now that we've gone through all the things, stuff, and things, I'm going to go ahead and get into the show.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
All right, guys. So as we open the show with the Seattle Sea Chickens coming off the Super Bowl 60 championship, announced formal sale of the franchise. Now, that could, some people are like, hey, you know what, that's not a good thing, dude. You don't want to see a Super Bowl winning team up for sale like a month, less than a month after winning the title. But there's a formal reason for that, and that being the estate of Paul G. Allen today announced it has commenced a formal sale process for the Seattle Sea Chickens NFL franchise, consistent with Allen's directive to eventually sell all his sports holdings and direct all estate proceedings to philanthropy. Can you tell I have a 6th grade reading level? The Paul Allen estate said in a statement on Wednesday, the news comes less than 2 weeks after the Sea Chickens win over the Patriots in Super Bowl 60 on February 8th. Quote, the estate has selected investment bank Allen and Company and law firm Latham and Watkins to lead the sale process, which is estimated to continue through the 2026 offseason. NFL owners must then ratify a final purchase agreement, the estate statement continued. Allen purchased the Seattle Sea Chickens in 1997 and earned the franchise's first Super Bowl win in 2013. Allen died in 2018, and his younger sister, Jody, has served as the chair of the Sea Chickens since then. Paul Allen his will stipulated that the Sea Chickens should eventually be sold with proceedings given to philanthropic efforts. NFL senior national columnist Judy Batista reported on Wednesday that there was some level of urgency from the league for the Seattle franchise to start this proceedings prior to the annual league meeting, which runs March 29th to April 1st in Phoenix. Well, I'm sure they'd like to kind of get this wrapped up and ratified with a bow on it prior to the actual kickoff of the 2026 NFL season. Not necessarily something you want to be dealing with while you're trying to restructure your cap, go and re-sign your Super Bowl MVP running back, all the moving parts that is the NFL offseason. The Seahawks sale price is expected to set an NFL record, surpassing the $6 billion price a partnership led by Josh Harris paid for the Washington Commies in 2023. I don't know who should buy it, but I think it'd be. Obviously it's not going to happen. But wouldn't it be really cool if we got a really based buyer out there in Seattle, just like based AF, dude, just came in and purchased, like somehow Ted Nugent bought him. Oh man, that absolutely be wild. So there is a little bit of urgency, as we just said over there, and this is kind of adding on to the NFL article we have over here. This comes to us from Yahoo Sports. Paul Allen's will is kind of the big issue here. So in 2009, Allen was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He died in 2018 with complications, or due to complications of the cancer. His sister's been running the show. As part of his will, he dictated that all his sports holdings should be sold following his death, with proceedings going to philanthropic efforts. Now, you're like, oh, how many? Well, he also owned the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers followed through on Allen's directive, going up for sale in May. The team was sold a few months later, going for over $4 billion, right? So we're looking at possibly $10 billion going to philanthropic efforts. Now, what's really going to happen there is all of the lawyers and the estate holdings companies, everybody's going to go ahead and get their little sliggity slice. And look, if you believe that all of these people aren't interconnected in some way or another, that their palms aren't getting greased off of the death of Paul Allen in some capacity. Now let's see Paul Allen's card. Right? If you're not thinking that all of his little buddies aren't greasing their palms off his death, if you think that this $10 billion is going to philanthropic efforts, well, my friend, I have a big, glorious bridge that I would like to sell you in Brooklyn, because who's really going to make out like a bandit from this is, I'm sure Uncle Sam's going to go ahead and get himself a nice little slice of the pie there. Now, why do we need to make this happen? Why is there a little bit of urgency going on? The matter is that Seattle went up for sale, but not a little infringement between the franchise and the NFL. In January, reports emerged suggesting that the Sea Chickens would be put up for sale after the Super Bowl, but the estate refused those reports, saying the team was not for sale. The NFL took issue with the report, reportedly fining the team $5 million for refusing to adhere to league rules. The sale should come together relatively soon. They hired Allen & Company, an investment bank, to lead the sale process. Allen & Company was also hired by Allen's estate when it was looking to sell the Trailblazers, and that deal came together just a few months later. Now, I realize that looks incredibly fishy. Very first thing that I did when I read that is I was like, oh, of course, they hired their own family. No, they are two very distinct Allen branches or Allen families. They are not like cousins or nothing like that. They are very separate. It just happens to be a pretty common last name. The Seahawks estimated value is at $6.5 billion. There is a, where was I reading? Somewhere along the lines here, it says that the, blah, blah, blah. Somewhere along here, it says about how, so technically the reason that this has to happen, oh, here you go. In addition to that, the NFL does not allow trust to serve as a team's owner. A NFL team must be owned by individuals. So the NFL is like, hey, this can't happen, which is why they ended up getting fined when the NFL was like, the Seattle Sea Chickens will be up for sale. And the Sea Chickens, the estate was like, yeah, no, they're not. And the NFL was like, well, yes, they are. And you owe us $5 million. You know what I'm saying? A cool little payday for the NFL. Oh, the biggest money-making industry, at least in entertainment value, more or less. What do you guys think about that? How do we feel about the Seattle Sea Chickens being sold for sale? What's up, Mr. Figs? How you doing? Hopefully the daughter's doing well, brother. Shit, there's Rick. I was going to say, where's Rick? Yeah, there he is. How you doing, Rick? Good to see you, brother. Mr. Detroit City, my mom's hanging out. As much as I like Jerry Jones, he's based, bro. It could never happen, but wouldn't it be wild as hell if Jerry Jones bought the Seattle Sea Chickens and just like brought all of his dirty right-wing oil money up there to Portland and just plopped it right on their face hole, dude? Oh, bro, that'd be hilarious, dude. That'd be absolutely hilarious. Or what if like Smith and Wesson were able to purchase them? I'm not a Smith and Wesson guy per se, but you get the joke. You get where we're heading with it. You know what I'm saying? Damn it, I keep forgetting to click it over to live chat, you guys. My bad if I missed any of the chats, y'all. My bad, yo. I am so bad about that. All right, guys, go ahead and that would be something, wouldn't it? Go ahead and slap that share button, copy it, the link down on your clipboard before we talk about little Hines Ward Hall of Fame action. So, you guys know Hines Ward. Of course we know Hines Ward. Everybody draws the comp of Hines Ward to Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? Because, well, look at him. They look smiley guy out there, hard playing, a little bit undersized. I think the actual comp to Amon-Ra St. Brown is Larry Fitzgerald. He's just a more compact version of it. But Hines Ward, look, dude, there was a couple of days there where Hines Ward, I mean, he was kind of him. Now, the production, was it really ever there? The numbers. Are the numbers really all that gaudy on Hines Ward? I would probably say no. But there are guys with better numbers that have gotten into the Hall of Fame. And why have those guys gotten into the Hall of Fame? Because of one of the most important prerequisites of the requirements to get into the Hall of Fame. I put air quotes around that because Bill Belichick wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. So the Hall of Fame is an absolute joke right now. Until Bill Belichick's in the Hall of Fame, the NFL is an absolute joke. Or the Hall of Fame is an absolute joke. But Hines Ward, look, dude, the requirement for the Hall of Fame is that you can't tell the story of the NFL without these guys. So yes, there will be guys with lesser numbers because they meant more. Their story was better, more impactful for the franchise. Hines Ward, you were a really important cog in a very, very shiny wheel, but you weren't the most important cog in that wheel. You know, no one ever thinks of, well, you know, if you remove Hines Ward from the Super Bowl teams, you're still going to win based on your defense. You're still going to be as effective, more or less, based on your defense, based on your run game. Ben Roethlisberger, I think, was a little bit more keen to use his tight ends at the time than really say a Hines Ward. Also, let's not forget Santonio Holmes was there in Pittsburgh for a while, just absolutely crushing it. But Hines Ward, keeps sliding down. And Chris Carter, NFL Hall of Famer from Minnesota, wide receiver, ends up explaining the one brutal reality as to why Hines Ward might not get in the Hall of Fame. Pittsburgh currently has 32 Hall of Famers in team history. Between the 70s dynasty, the feared 90s teams, and the historic 2000s team, the Steelers became one of the most prestigious NFL franchises. Right now, playing currently, they have two potential Hall of Famers in TJ Watt and Cam Hayward. I don't know enough about Cam Hayward's numbers to see if he really stacks up against the Hall of Famers. I do think that TJ Watt's biggest adversary to getting into the Hall of Fame is going to be his brother. Over the years, the Steelers have seen the likes of Alan Faneca, who's a massive, just destructive human being. Troy Polamalu, one of my all-time favorite players in the NFL, inducted into the Hall of Fame. They were part of the great 2000 Steelers teams that won 2 Super Bowls and appeared in 3. But one of their teammates, who was a pivotal piece to those teams, has yet to make it. That would be Hines Ward, who's a former Super Bowl MVP and was one of the best wide receivers of the 2000s decade. He was a gritty receiver who wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. Ward was a 4-time Pro Bowler and a 3-time second-team All-Pro. Despite these accolades, however, Ward has still not been inducted into the Hall of Fame. He has been eligible since 2017. He's been a semifinalist for 10 straight years. 2026 is no different. Ward was snubbed once again and is beginning to look like he may never make it. NFL Hall of Famer Chris Carter spoke on the Fully Loaded podcast recently, where he gave his surprising take on Ward. Quote, Hines Ward, only 85 touchdowns, only 4 Pro Bowls. Those numbers right there are hard to overcome. You know, if he had 1,000 catches, 100 touchdowns, the MVP that season, like in that Super Bowl, it helps. He doesn't have the numbers. By the numbers. Ward's numbers aren't the greatest in the NFL. As a player overall, he was one of the most complete receivers in the NFL. The 2000 Steelers defense were known for their hard-hitting, aggressive style, but Ward, on offense, was just as aggressive, and I will give you that. I don't think Hines Ward would be able to play the style of ball he plays now, or be able to have played the style of ball he played in today's NFL. The hits Ward made during his time would have him suspended in today's NFL. And there you go. Ward may not have the greatest numbers, but he is 31st all-time in receiving yards, and there are plenty of guys behind Ward who are already inducted. Guys like Michael Irvin, Calvin Johnson, and Lance Allworth are all currently in the Hall of Fame. Ward is tied with Allworth in touchdowns and clears the rest. He also has more touchdowns than Houston Texans Hall of Famer Andre Johnson. That is some pretty good company. Ward is arguably more complete receiver than all of these players. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you to hold your horses there, Bucko. Okay. Hold here now, bud. You're gonna go ahead and make a statement like that. We're gonna go ahead and climb right up on the grandma wagon and play this little game, bud, okay? So you're telling me that Hines Ward is more complete receiver than Michael Irvin, Calvin Johnson, Andre Johnson, or Lance Allworth, who are all Hall of Famers, right? Okay, so you're going to say he's a more complete receiver than all of them. So if you were to put Hines Ward in a 1-to-1 replacement with Calvin Johnson on the Detroit Lions, is Hines Ward putting up anywhere near the numbers that Calvin Johnson put up, let alone the career numbers that Hines Ward put up? If you put Hines Ward on the Houston Texans, same statement, same question. The only comp I think you could really draw to would be Michael Irvin, but he played in an entirely different era than Calvin Johnson. So you're going to put era comparative players, Calvin Johnson and Andre Johnson. I'm going to just go ahead and stand out here on my own maybe and say, yo, Hines Ward doesn't hold a fucking candle to Calvin Johnson or Andre. Dude, I mean, Hines Ward's a fun guy, right? Yeah, good for him. A fun player. Bro, Hines Ward and Calvin Johnson aren't even in the same fucking galaxy of players. Are you shitting me, bro? Are you shitting me? You're really going to come out here and tell me that Hines Ward is a more complete receiver than Calvin Johnson? His role as a run blocker cannot be undermined as well. Good for him. Was Hines Ward getting triple covered and still coming away with 200-yard games? Was Hines Ward the guy who defenses were going, we will do everything in our power to do what we can to make sure that this man cannot be successful, and he still crushes you for 2 bills on 12 catches with 15 targets. Get out of here. This is what, dude. Yo, I'm sorry, but this is the problem with you Steelers fans, dude. Y'all are just like, y'all think you're District 1 of the NFL, dude. Y'all think you are just like so good. Y'all are that fantasy football guy that's like, I have a turd and I want gold for it. Y'all are so fucking delusional. God damn. Y'all are so delusional that you chased Tomlin out after fucking 20 years of a winning record, dude. Bro, this is a problem with you Steelers fans. Y'all are goofy. Y'all are just a bunch of goofy goofs, dude. Calvin over 2 wards, 100%, dude. Hall of Fame is not nice to wide receivers. That's true, Rick. That's true. But in that vein, I think the Hall of Fame selection committee is a little bit tougher on wide receivers because wide receivers are a little bit more divas on the field, and they let them get away with a little bit more chicanery and nonsense and tomfoolery. So it's like, hey, you want to act like an asshole? We're going to go ahead and hold you to a higher standard to get into the quote-unquote, Hall of Fame that doesn't have the winningest Super Bowl head football, or the only head football coach with 7 rings, right? The most Super Bowls out of anybody. And he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. So the Hall of Fame is kind of a joke. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, dude, I agree with you, Mr. Figs. Calvin over 2. Dude, Hines Ward literally doesn't stack up to Calvin Johnson, even if it was 2 Hines Wards standing on their shoulders in a trench coat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd still take Calvin Johnson at the back end of his career with busted fingers and fucked up on painkillers over 2 Hines Wards sitting on their shoulders in a trench coat. You know what I'm saying, dude? Bro, I would almost say, like, yes, Hines Ward was good. He was as good as Golden Tate is. You know what I'm saying? Like, Hines Ward's numbers would have been no better than Golden Tate's numbers in Detroit. There you go. There's borderline a 1-to-1 comp. You know? Yeah, a little bit of difference because you can't compare person to person, but they're similar. You know what I'm saying? So I would take a Calvin Johnson broken and beaten at the end of his career over a Hines Ward with another Hines Ward with a Golden Tate sitting on each other's shoulders 3 deep in a trench coat. You know what I'm saying, dude? That's how good Calvin Johnson is arguably, pound for pound, the greatest wide receiver to ever play the game. Okay? No one will ever be able to do what he has been able to do, at least in the next 10 to 15 years, physically on the field. You could put Calvin Johnson in any generation of football, and he's absolutely going to crush people. He was able to crush people in the modern era. He would be able to absolutely dismember defenses in the historic era. And in today's era, with today's ability to just ragdoll DBs, where if a DB even looks at you wrong, they get flagged. Dude, Calvin would be absolutely mollywomping cats left and right. We'd be going, DK who? DK's a bitch, dude. Calvin John, give me Megatron all day long. Go ahead and put 11-man coverage on him. He's still coming down with the ball. I don't give a goddamn fuck. He's the best wide receiver to play the game. What's up, Derek? Just catching me kind of crashing out about Calvin Johnson and the massive amounts of disrespect. I don't know if you guys can tell, Calvin Johnson is my favorite player in the NFL, to ever play. He's my favorite Detroit Lion. He's my favorite player. I fucking just love the way Calvin Johnson played football. I follow. He came around that same period when I was really getting into the draft process, dude. Calvin Johnson's my dude. I'm incredibly defensive of Calvin Johnson. And to see this absolute camel toe moose knuckle of a beat reporter, this Christian Flaherty intern. Oh, he's an intern. Well, dude, you probably shouldn't be writing articles over here talking about how Hines Ward is better than Calvin Johnson. Right here. Right the fuck, here it is. Come on, bitch. There it is. Guys like Michael Irvin, Calvin Johnson, Lance Allworth, and Andre Johnson are all in the Hall of Fame. Whereas Hines Ward is not. That's some pretty good company. Ward is arguably more complete receiver than all these players. Nope. Get fucked, cunt. Get fucked. Stay fucked. And this is why nobody likes the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nobody likes you, and you all smell. All right, guys, and speaking of shitty things, We're going to go ahead and kick it over some Lions news, guys. Some Lions information. What's up, Kerry? How you doing, man? Hell yeah, Derek. You know what I'm saying, dude? I'm very protective of Calvin Johnson. That's my guy, dude. That's my guy. He's always been my guy, dude. Just a fucking absolute beast out there, bro. Just a beast, man. It was one of the few, like, his agility, the way Calvin Johnson just would glide down the field is similar to watching Jahmyr Gibbs just glide away from people. Like, it's very impressive to watch the 1% of the 1% athletes just be that much better than all of their peers. Like, it just was, Calvin Johnson, game in and game out, was absolutely poetry in motion. It was a work of art to see him go out there and be the absolute 0.001% of his craft. You know, just a master, just a grandmaster of his craft. You know what I'm saying? They're taking us to the Potomac. Ah, no, sir. I can lead us though. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys. So over here, the Lions team president Rod Wood is set to retire. You guys missed that news yesterday. It kind of came out. The Lions announced on Wednesday the team president and CEO Rod Wood is retiring, saying fairly well to Rod Wood. The official press release says that he will decide to step away at some point before the 2026 regular season, so he could still have his fingerprints. Look, that is a very important thing right there. The regular season. So if he holds and just kind of keeps kicking around, I'm just here to mentor. I'm just here in an advising role. I don't want to say adversarial. Adversarial? I have a 6th grade reading level. If he's still involved in any capacity and we do make the Super Bowl up to, he says the regular season. So that literally means, we kick off on Sunday, Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Chances are it is signaling to me, hey, Rod Wood's still going to get a ring when we win the Super Bowl next year. I want to thank the Ford family and ultimately Lions fans everywhere for trusting me to lead the Detroit Lions for the last 11 seasons. Wood said in a written statement, "It has been an absolute thrill for me to lead this organization, and I am proud of what we have accomplished over the decade plus. I am most proud of where I am leaving this organization in the capable hands of Sheila Hamp, Brad Holmes, and Motor City Dan Campbell. Wood will stay until his replacement is hired. The team said that the search will be conducted by Russell Reynolds and Associates. Russell Reynolds Associates, not Russell Reynolds Associates, an executive search and leadership advisory firm. Well, I'm waiting. My phone is not ringing. Hello? Don't you want a guy leading it with tiger blood in his veins, winning? Let's go. Let's start this campaign. Guys, we have got to get a hold. Call everyone you know. We got to start a campaign. Got to get a hold of this Russell Reynolds Associates fella. Whoever this Russell Reynolds Associates fella is, we got to get a hold of this guy. And you got to get him in touch with Hat and Beard. Guys. I'm happy to take a new job. I am not very thrilled with where I'm currently at. I'm a massive Detroit Lions fan and have been, I've been practicing for this ever since about 1999 when I first picked up my copy of Madden NFL Football. I think I'm ready to do this. I have, at this point, hundreds of Super Bowls under my belt across 26, 27 years now of Madden play. I mean, can you name me off the top of your head one other guy who managed to make Roy Williams, Calvin Johnson, Joey Harrington, and Casey Fitzsimmons Hall of Fame players? I'm waiting. I sent James Stewart to the Pro Bowl 4 times. Under my tutelage, we wouldn't have even needed a Matt Stafford. Let's go. Come on. Somebody needs to get a hold. We need to get a hold of this Russell Reynolds Associates fella. We got to get him on the horn. We got to get him over here. Send him the link to the show. We got to send Russell Reynolds Associates. We got to send him the link to the show. Get him on in over here at Mad Hatter Nation. All right, you guys. We are look. Just tell him legit. We are based AF. Right. It is a based. We are the most based NFL and Detroit Lions content creation station. I've been practicing for this role for decades. I'm your guy. All right, look, and I will totally. I have a plan. All right. Now, I have a plan. It's a 3-step plan. Okay. I won't tell you the 3 steps of the plan. I can give you steps 1 and 2, but I'm not willing to give you the 3 steps. Right. That's for me to once I get hired. Right. I have a 3-step plan, but I won't tell you the 3 steps. Just so you know, though, depending on when the interview process happens, I might have to sneak away from my family. They're vacationing in the Fingerlings right now, and they think I'm out on a walk in the woods. They're in the Fingerlings right now. Lions have 2 clear internal candidates to replace Rod Wood. Good to know who my competition is. All right, guys, you might think that I'm yanking your chain or blowing smoke up your ass. No, I am not shitting you. Look at the size of you all. You would fucking kill me. Are you serious? I am not shitting you. Legit. All right. The NFL is an entertainment venue, or an entertainment industry. I am a natural-born entertainer. Now, if you really want to go ahead and spike your ratings, NFL, go ahead and make a nice solid push. You want to have media? You want to have clicks? All right. That's what you do, NFL. Headline news. Under 1,000 subscriber podcast turned CEO of the Detroit Lions. Let's go, you guys. Come on. Can't you just see the headlines already? Can't you just see it already? Look at me, dude. I'm a one-man operation. I'm over here clicking on cameras, moving microphones and shit. I can't connect my account to Rumble, but we can go. Let's go. I can put people in positions of success. It's not about what I know. It's about being able to identify the right talent to put it around me. Let's go. Rule number 1, in Brad Holmes we trust. Rule number 2, shit or get off the pot, Taylor Decker. That's one of my, that's step 1. That's step 1. Shit or get off the pot, Taylor Decker. How do you guys feel about that, Mad Hatter Nation? How do we feel about that? What's up, John John Clapper? How you doing, bro? It's hard to read your names, dude, because I want to say Jan. I know. It's me, dude. I have a bad reading level, dude. Do the Lions do what they did last year in this year's draft? And then the second round, they take a safety because they took a defensive tackle because it was in need the first. Yeah, John, you know what, dude? As far as the draft is concerned, man, the second round, I'm going to be honest, dude, I think the second round's kind of the money round, dude. You can get really high caliber players, who have, for whatever reason slipped because of X, Y, and Z, If AJ Halkey is there, I'm really, really high on that guy. The safety class this year, I'm not necessarily, I think it's kind of a top end, a couple 2-tree guys. The Lions, I think, need to address the safety room, at least right now, with Thomas Harper played really, really well, and he's under contract until 2027, and he's very, very young. You continue to roll Thomas Harper as your spell safety for Kirby Joseph. As far as the Brian Branch situation goes, obviously, I think you wait and see about Brian Branch to see if he can actually be the Deuce Staley of Achilles. In lieu of waiting for him to return, though, I don't think the draft, unless there is a very, very high caliber safety there in the second round, I don't think the draft is where you address that position, albeit that has been one of the strengths of Brad Holmes in being able to identify safety talent in the draft an example, Kirby Joseph, who is on a NFL Hall of Fame historic pace comparative to Ed Reed, and as well as the talent level of Brian Branch. I think you maybe go for a Kobe Bryant or a safety in the free agent room somewhere, or in the free agent class somewhere where you can kind of address a little bit of veterancy, even if that is returning of Avonte Maddox, because as high as I am on Thomas Harper, technically Avonte Maddox graded out as a higher ranking safety, number 9th overall in the NFL, whereas Thomas Harper was number 11th in the NFL overall. Though, if, like I said, I am kind of in love with AJ Halkey. I don't know if he falls, though, to the Lions in the second round. It's not about what you know, it's about the size of the beard. Bro. And think about it this way, guys. It would totally give me a reason to shave my head. Me, Brad Holmes, Lil Spud, fucking Pinky in the Brain, dude. Let's go, dude. Legit, this is how it shakes out, bro. Lions hire me as their new CEO to replace Rod Wood. Groundbreaking, headline-shattering news article. Timcast has me on. I do the podcast circuit, you know what I mean? And then the entire NFL season, my entire exposure to the press, I do it where, like, I don't have it up here. I actually have a pork pie. I have an actual replica pork pie hat that Walter White wore on Breaking Bad. It cost me like $200 fucking years ago. I wear the pork pie hat and glasses and do Heisenberg impressions through all my media interactions, dude. It's just nothing but, we are the danger. We're in the empire business. You know what I'm saying? If you got the job, you're going to hire me to a nice cushy office job with 7-figure salary. If so, you got my support. Tell you what, dude, when the Lions hire me as their CEO, my first hire is to appoint Chris Spielman as the assistant CEO so he can do most of the work. And then, yeah, I'm hiring as many people that I know as I can in the cushiest, most over-bloated, bureaucratic fucking bullshit jobs that I can. We all getting rings, dog. We all getting rings. I only asked about safety in the second round because Brad Holmes decided to take the defensive tackle in the first when there was a stud, way more skilled linebacker available last year's draft. Oh, I understand, John. I just don't think that we were really scouting the linebacker room super hard. I think that after the re-signing of Derek Barnes, we were still content with the Alex Anelzone play. Jack Campbell, obviously, as I predicted, ascended to an all-pro, best linebacker in the NFL. Honestly, I don't know, like, specifically this year, if linebacker is really a position of need, where, to your point, safety might be the route to go as we look to possibly transition out of our base 4-3 defense that we run like 60 to 80% of the time, more than anybody else in the NFL, and look to go run more of a hybrid nickel style, which was leaning towards its availability with Brian Branch being able to slide down to the nickel. We then could lend to drafting a safety that could rotate over to play for Brian Branch in that position. Now, if you want to go that route and go the second round after a DB safety corner hybrid to kind of play that nickel position as you transition into the hybrid defense, I'm all for that. Again, it comes down to availability, who's there, and the talent around that drafting position. If you, I don't know if you were here for the mock draft on Monday. I was trading out. I traded out of 17, and then I traded out of 50 to accrue more picks, and gives you a little bit more maneuverability. Unfortunately, in doing that, we missed out on talent like Halkey. We came back around, though, with Kilgore. Kind of took him a little bit earlier, though. I'm not necessarily off the Kilgore hype train, but I do think he has a little bit of raw talent that needs to be a little bit more polished. So if we could maybe pick him up 4th or 5th round, again, though, we have to be very, very picky with what we do in the draft if we're not going to trade back and pick up more picks, simply because we don't have that 3rd round pick. You know what I'm saying? But I think we need to focus on trenches more than anything in the draft. We need to get another offensive tackle. We need to, regardless of what happens with Taylor Decker, you know, if Taylor Decker stays, then it allows you more flexibility in going more of a Caleb Lomu route. If Taylor Decker retires, then you need to be a little bit more aggressive going after a guy. In my opinion, Spencer Fano is the best tackle in the draft. Maya Uga would be a consolation prize. Outside of that, then you then start to open up the possibility of, well, do we want to burn our 1st round pick on a tackle like a Caleb Lomu when we could get, say, a Keldrick Falk at 17, maybe trade back, get a few more picks later on, God forbid, maybe a future 1st round pick. And then the tackle class is a little bit more mid-round loaded, 2nd to 3rd round. I'm pretty high on Jennings Dunker, or as I call him, Gunter Dunker, out of Iowa. Jake Slaughter at the center spot will be there. It's kind of a dependent on the NFL, or the Detroit Lions need to have conversations with the Michigan Mullet, Tater Ratledge, to see if he wants to transition over to center, if he wants to stay at guard. What do you do at the tackle spot? Taylor Decker leaves. Does Penny want to move from left to right? He has openly said they haven't had any conversations about that. At this point in his career, though, be it that he is the best offensive lineman in football and one of the top 5-3 players in the NFL, period, point blank, period, position regardless. Penei Sewell, do you want to transition or do you want to stay at the right tackle spot? There's a lot of questions to be had. Just putting that on Holmes, thinking Cap. I'm trying to think what we do, Brad, sunset on XYZ in the past. Oh, fair enough, dude. Well, I mentioned linebacker meaning last year because the Campbell guy was available and he was way better than defensive tackle he took, but Brad took DT because he thought he was a bigger need. Dude, I'm going to just push back a little bit. Just because Tyreek didn't have a dominant, flashy rookie campaign doesn't mean that he had a bad rookie campaign. I actually think that Tyreek Williams played higher and better than his draft position was at when he was on the field. Tyreek Williams didn't have a lot put on his plate, which could be the benefit to him. He played early on more simply because of rotationary needs without Aleem the Dream McNeil there. As you look to transition into the offseason, there are questions around Roy Lopez. If Roy Lopez comes back, that will eat into Tyreek Williams' production and rotationary needs as far as the defense is concerned. DJ Reader is poised to be a free agent. I do think, though, when Tyreek was on the field, and especially as the season grew, Tyreek played better and better, although we did see a snap count kind of go up and down and up and down. One thing in particular I do really like about Tyreek Williams, he's a little bit more athletic, I think, than Aleem. He's a little bit lighter than Aleem. However, Tyreek is really good at getting his hands up in passing lanes. A lot of batted balls, which is a very underrated attribute in the NFL. My daughter texted me. She said half of Oklahoma is on fire. No shit. What the fuck happened in Oklahoma, dude? Oh, X, I'm always trading out. I'm trading with Pittsburgh from 18 to 21. I'm picking up 85 in the third. Hell yeah, John. So yes, dude. So you're with me. I am all for. Look, I am all about trading. I'm willing to trade all the way back to 30 if you can get enough picks. If you can get enough draft capital, I think that 17 is a perfect spot to trade out of. Way more so than we were, a few years back at like 23. I think 17 is a nice spot where between 10 and 20, a lot of moves start to happen. Teams get a little bit antsy post 20. Maybe they have a little bit more draft capital, want to strike and move up. Go right ahead. Brad Holmes, values draft capitals, and he's been known to wheel and deal on draft day. There should be a course utilizing football lingo to teach other subjects in school. You're 100% American, dude. You're 100%, dude. I think that is partially why football is so beloved, mostly amongst men, right? It's very to the point, What are you doing? I'm blitzing. What does that mean? I'm attacking. You know what I'm saying? We draft Dunker at tackle and then Slaughter at center. I'll be so... Oh, John. If we get old Gunter Dunker and Slaughter... Boys, I'm full mast for a straight month afterwards. Legit. That is organic Viagra to hat and beard. Sure, you fucking shitting me. So let's go ahead and look at my competition internally. I think that there's one guy who should... Chris Spielman, special assistant to the owner and CEO. Few individuals are more closely tied to the Lions' cultural transformation than Spielman. He is. And he is even... I do it all the time. Grossly overlooked. We give Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell all of the accolades, all of the flowers. Chris Spielman was an incredibly important, and I do believe you guys are very good at reminding me of that. Chris Spielman, incredibly important cog in the rebuild of the Detroit Lions. As a franchise legend and the team's all-time leading tackler, Spielman returned to the organization in 2021 as a special assistant to Hamp and Wood. From the outset of Hamp's tenure, there was a concerted effort to surround ownership with trusted football minds. Spielman has been pivotal to that shift. He assisted in the interview and hiring process for general manager Brad Holmes and head coach Dan Campbell, two moves widely credited with shaping the trajectory of the franchise. Spielman's value lies in the trust he's built with Hamp. He operates at the highest level of the organization and has Hamp's ear. Known for his bright football mind and no-nonsense leadership style, he has helped establish a culture rooted in accountability and toughness. The Lions' ascent from irrelevancy to playoff contenders coincides directly with his involvement in the front office. I don't think we need to read on any farther. We all know who Chris Spielman is. And there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that Chris Spielman is 100%. If it's not going to be Hat and Beard, it has to be Chris Spielman. Chris Spielman is the Detroit Lions. Chris Spielman needs to be. If it's not going to be me, and I'm being serious. You guys think I'm fucking joking. I ain't fucking joking. If it ain't going to be me, then it needs to be Chris Spielman. Right? Am I wrong? Chris Spielman, a guy who lives, breathes, and knows NFL. Played it, lived it, loved it. The other guy, and this is where I say there is a direct clash, is Mike Disner, the CEO. Spielman embodies football credibility. Disner is the epitome of an individual with executive readiness. He is the managerial class. So, he was interviewed for the CEO job that Matt Ryan ended up getting in Atlanta, and he is a name that has been kicking around. Why don't you know very much about him? Because he's a nerd. Because he's a book guy. Because he's a managerial class. So, what the Detroit Lions have to do right now is make a decision. And this choice, I do think, will bleed ultimately into the absolute identity of the Detroit Lions. Do you make the decision to hire the leader of the gritty, blue-collar, bite off their kneecaps, Motor City Detroit Lions? Do you select the next leader to be a white-collar, suit and tie, managerial class, look at all of my diplomas, by the numbers guy? Or do you pull, by all accounts, from the rank and file? Do you take somebody who doesn't just know football, but knows football? Somebody who's realize. You know what I'm saying? A no-nonsense Dan Campbellian type guy. I think you guys know what the right choice is here. The ultimate question will be, when the Lions make the wrong decision in not hiring Hat and Beard, they then have the choice to make the less wrong decision. And by hiring Chris Spielman, you will be making the infinitely less wrong decision. We all know that the right decision is to hire Hat and Beard, okay? But that is a long shot, okay? I'm a pretty private person. I don't expect to be getting, any Pony Express notifications that the Lions would like me to go ahead and take a stagecoach down to Detroit and interview for the CEO job. Right, that's a long shot, but if we all work together with the collective power of the internet, we can actually start. Like, it would be one of the funniest internet moves of all time. Like, if the internet was actually able to put a little bit of, juice behind this, girls juice deals. It would be hilarious, dude. My channel would blow up for sure. But if they're going to make the wrong decision and not hiring Hat and Beard, you need to make the infinitely less wrong decision. The Lions need to hire Chris Spielman as the next president and CEO of the Detroit Lions. Am I off base with that, Mad Hatter Nation? I highly doubt Spielman wants that job. Really? Why so? Minka Fitzpatrick from Miami? Oh, yeah. Depends on how much money he wants. Bring in Richard for $50 and have him play fullback and backup DT where he originated from, and trade Aleem for Max. That's a big swing, but, that'd be a big swing. I think bringing in Patrick Ricard would be a solid move. They need to hire someone from Las Vegas. I don't mean the Raiders. Ha! I see what you're saying, Rick. I see what you're saying. We need to hire one of those guys from Vegas who's affiliated with Hyman Roth. one of those guys from Vegas that knows Hyman Roth. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys. So we got a few minutes here. We're gonna run a little bit over because I can't stop watching Sergeant Ducky videos. So we're gonna go ahead and kick it over here and wrap up the day with a little ha. Since damn, I'm not gonna lie, guys. This is the tough part here. Whew, man, we are slogging through views. Sheila said Spielman was the best hire for the team. I think they should hire me, but Spielman would be good too. See, and Mom, I appreciate your endorsement. Thank you so much. In fact, if, when, then they call, I'll make sure and point them to this comment. I'll be like, look, guys, my mom endorsed me. My mom also said that Penei Sewell was going to be an absolute stud in the NFL. So clearly, my mom knows talent, all right? Listen to my mom. God damn. Sheila, I talked to my mom, and my mom said that it was okay for you to hire me as the CEO, all right? All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap today up with a little Sergeant Ducky video. This is Living with the Boys. So it's a series that he does where he tells stories about when he lived with his homies, right? And Living with the Boys, this is a very special blanket. Let's enjoy.
So a while back I did a poll. His name is Bartek, lovely bloke. His sister is studying to become a bricklayer. But I also did a YouTube poll on what the next Living with the Boys video should be. And the results were irrelevant, because I wanted to mislead you into thinking that you couldn't have it all. So when I gave you it all, you'd realise that I've always been a generous lover of a content creator, and you'd appreciate me more. Because today you're getting about 4 stories all rolled into one massive pain in the rectum to make. So like it once, comment on it twice, or buy me a pint, and let's kick things off with a cold open. So myself and PJ were wandering down the road when we bumped into a sharply dressed Hef. Well lads, long time no see. Had I known I'd bump into ye over here, I would have brought a boyfriend of my own. I feel like a third wheel now. You'd know a lot about third wheels alright, considering you're dressed like you sell dodgy cars to vulnerable old women. Yeah, I've just been to a job interview. What brings ye over here? Myself and Ducky are working in this town now, so we're just on the way to take a look at a house to rent. Yeah, let us know how you get on with it. The place we're going to look at is 3 bedrooms, so if you get the job, all 3 of us can share rent. How much is rent? Well, considering it's a reasonably modern 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, quite spacious house within walking distance of a town centre, it's a total of €1,400 a month. No, PJ, that's exactly how much that exact house is costing to rent in 2024. We're in 2011 right now. Oh, my bad. Changed literally nothing about the house but the date, and it's now €525. Oh, that's not bad then. Could you imagine if rent was actually that bad? The government to be toppled. Yeah, sure, the fighting Irish public wouldn't allow themselves to be shafted year after year by fattening landlords while the government only makes a passing mention of it to hide the fact they're not actually doing anything about it. Oh yeah, we'd do something about it. Not like those cowardly French people. Yeah, they'd be too afraid to protest their government over anything. So as you could guess, Hef got the job, and a few weeks later, we all moved in. But sharing rent wasn't the only way we helped each other save money. You see, because PJ worked in the local cinema, which gave us all discounted movie tickets and cheap snacks, which meant we didn't have to keep pirating waiting for movies to come out on DVD.
What's up, Dad?
I worked at the local movie and game shop, so rentals were free, and anything the boys bought off me were heavily discounted. Not that the company approved of that second one, but they're dead now, so fuck them. And Hef worked in a phone shop and got us some pretty decent deals on the latest phones. What kind of phone are you looking for? What do you have in Sony? Well, there's a brand new Xperia Play. It's a phone crossed with a PSP. It even has a pad with physical buttons to slide out. I don't know, lad. PSP never really did have a lot of good games. You can also ignore the games, download an emulator, and play old Pokemon games on it. See this right here? This is why you're a salesman. I'll take one immediately. Grand. So that's a newly released phone from a big brand, buying it outright with no monthly installments. That'll be €1,399. What? That can't be right. I owe the credit union less money for that in my car loan. Oh no, you're right. I had the thing set to 2024 phone prices for some reason. Now the price for this phone today is €200 before mates rates. That's better. Much appreciated, lad. Oh, £1,500 for a phone. Yeah, like I'd understand if it was in the far-flung future, but it's only like 13 years away. Sure, look, it's the way the world is going. Fuck you, customer, and also give me your money, please. Yeah, I don't know how people in the 2020s are going to manage with the price of things. Suppose they're probably not paying attention, being buried under all them games. Games? Yeah, sure, the new Elder Scrolls is coming out this year. There'll probably be about 3 more then by then. And God only knows how many more Grand Theft Autos there'll be after they drop 5. They'll be loving life. Yeah, you're probably right. But job perks wasn't the only way we chipped in to season the sausage that life would occasionally rail our gums with. We all had our own little quirks and perks that kept the group machinery spluttering along. Take Hef, After doing the wash up for a grand total of 1 time, he came up with the idea to buy a metric ton of paper plates so we could just lob them in the bin when we're done eating. Say what you want, but to this day, I still think that was absolute genius. Honestly, I put that up there with the time I threw away all my socks and bought 30 pairs of identical black socks so I'd never have to match them again. You'd think I'm joking, but I was boasting about that for like a month. Hey Connie, watch this.
I know, all your socks.
Boom! Matching pair.
Yes, you're very clever.
Eyes closed. Boom! Matching pair.
I have to go to work, you know.
Why, what time is it?
Hold on, it's...
Boom! Matching pair.
Why did I have to...
I did the same thing. All of my socks are black socks. They're all matching. You don't have to match, like, none of them up. They're all just... Fuck, man.
Fancy men.
Yeah, I know paper plates aren't very planet conscious and I should be saving the trees, but when has a tree ever saved me? Hey, condoms are made from trees? Oh, I take it back. Guess they saved me the price of a pack of cigarettes and a full tank of petrol. How about that? Also, Hef was probably the cleanest out of all of us, as the man almost never ate. You'd only ever find 3 things in this man's mouth. A pint, a ciggy, or a pair of tits. He'd also spend most of his time either at work or in his room. Days would often go by and we wouldn't see him. That's why myself and PJ genuinely thought he was dead one time. It'd be so long between sighting sometimes that we'd have to lay traps just so we can get money off him for the bills. Any luck this morning? No, he's not going for the beer anyway. I'll have to up the ante with a bottle of blow-ins and 20 ciggies. I see him ignore that, huh? Oh. Ducky, I swear to God, if that's you inside the box.
Okay, look, I'll be honest with you. It is me in here. But you gotta admit, this is mostly your fault.
Well, how's it my fault?
Well, you know how much I love box.
It worked! Quick, get him! When it came to living with me, of course I shined in all areas as I'm perfect in every way. But in particular, I was the only one in the house that could properly cook. And believe me, I can cook up a storm. If you don't believe me, just look at this living with a woman video I made years ago. Yes, the dad jokes raw was there hiding in plain sight. I also had the strongest stomach for cleaning. Not that I was a neat freak. I wasn't above buttering my toast with the back of a hairbrush if that's all I had to hand. But my tolerance to live within filth was ever so slightly lower than theirs. So when the gaff got especially filthy or there was an especially nasty job that needed doing, I was usually the one to break first and do it. Well, actually, no, that's only partly true because most of the time I'd get my little sister to come over and give the place a scrub in exchange for a few bob. God, I miss the cheap labour of moneyless young siblings. Not that they've stopped hitting me up for money, it's just they've stopped offering to clean my house and replaced that with sob stories as to why they're suddenly at the verge of living under a bridge and tickling the scrotums of opportunist businessmen for the 11th time this year because they were unfairly ambushed with a bill that they've been paying every month for the last 5 years. Don't feel bad for them, they're not struggling. They're just bafflingly shit with money. But anyway, there was one particular time where my lower tolerance of filth really shined. And it was a job that even my sister refused to do. And that particular boss came in the shape of the downstairs toilet. You see, because one night me and the boys decided to have a girls' night in. So we were there sharing a naughty little bottle of rosé while we talked about all the boys we liked. When suddenly the front door flies open and in charges this great beast of a woman filled with liquid hate and alcoholic rage. Of course, shocked we all screamed as this Herculean mass stomps into the living room and begins to trash the place. Breaking chairs, smashing bottles, you name it. She then picked up this lovely little decorative vase that my deceased mother left me. So I pleaded, no, please, anything but that. That's all I have left to remember her by. She was very suspicious of photography. But the cold-hearted beast just gargled back, I don't care about your dead mother, and smashed it on the ground, severing the last physical connection I had with Mammy Ducky. It then thundered into the bathroom, shoved a roll of toilet paper down the toilet, clogging it, and then vomited a great lump of acidy green liquid on top of that, lest we attempt to unclog it. Then the beast body-shamed Hef, called PJ's hat stupid, she was a real piece of work, before vanishing into the night, never to be seen till the next house party again. To my memory, that's exactly how it went down. But regardless, we were left with the aftermath of the aftermath. Had these videos been true to life, that clogged toilet didn't just magically vanish when that video ended. No, we had to live with that. Live with that, I hear you say? Yep. You see, what happened was, none of us wanted to be the poor soul that had to roll up their sleeves and go elbow deep in pooper mache and liquid regret. So we all started playing this game of clogged toilet chicken, where we all competed to see how long we could ignore it before one of us caved and sorted it. This game lasted about, 5 months. Okay, look, fair is fair, I'll put my hands up. We didn't do a whole lot to fight the stereotype of men being dirty. But the reason it went on so long without any of us breaking was because the liquids in the toilet did drain ever so slowly over a couple of days. So you could use it sparingly in a sudden case of an emergency. And there was a lot of emergencies in those 5 months, to be fair. Like, we'd sometimes drunkenly forget that it was clogged, or we weren't arsed walking all the way upstairs. Dire stuff, really. So as the days turned into weeks and into months, that toilet only got worse and worse. Until the eventual day... fuck it. Fuck you, that's what. Pair of p***s. So I geared up, headed inside the exclusion zone, walked past a radioactive plant life and sink of ill repute, and finally arrived at the clogged toilet. Knelt down on the floor, which was wet for some reason, took a breath and plunged my hand deep into the clogged toilet. And guess what
Get
I
something
find?
to pull it out with,
Just
dog.
as I thought.
Clock.
Do you know what the worst thing about sorting that toilet was? Barely got any thanks for it. I spent 3 hours on that. Half an hour to sort the bathroom and 2.5 hours to scrub away the top 2 layers of my skin. And after all that, all I got from the boys was, "Hey, who fixed the toilet?" I did. Oh. Ugh. Don't worry about it. You spend all day toiling away, polishing, wiping, make sure the place smells lovely. And do they notice? No. They just wander in and immediately undo all your good work without even a word of adulation. Not now, Connie, please. I know you just want to comfort me, but how could you possibly understand what this feeling is like? Just leave me to suffer on alone. And of course there was PJ. Now, PJ's cooking skills were at a level where it wouldn't be strange to find him reading the instructions on the back of a box of cereal. It's zero patience for cleaning, often interpreting cleaning a room as clearing off the table in that room. And he despised doing anything that resembled a chore, often even complaining about having to go and do a food shop. What do you mean you're not coming? I'll just have to go next week again, and then a week after that until the grave opens up and swallows me. It's a fix. Well, what's your preferred solution to food shopping then? Can the food just not, be there in the fridge, like? You know what? Forget it. No point in even talking to you. Come on, lad. Fucking child. Well, lad, here, can you put me onto Ducky there? What you want? I'm driving. Here, if you're going to the shop, would you pick us up a pizza and a bottle of Coke? What the fuck is his problem? But it'd be a lie to say his impatience and blunt approach to life didn't solve the occasional problem. Take the fire alarms. So there was something bizarre about the house that took us a while to notice. And that was there was a fire alarm in every room that didn't have a toilet. No joke, there was 7 of them. But this went completely unnoticed until one fateful day.
What was that?
And it sounded like a fire alarm going dead.
Were you fire alarms?
No. Yes. Wasn't that one anyway? Is there another one in the kitchen? Probably. Makes the most sense to put it there. I mean, who doesn't like waking the whole house when they want to have some toast at 2 in the morning?
Sounded to me like you came from upstairs.
Alright, let's have a look around. Yeah, there's one here in the kitchen. There's one in the hall here too. Hef, is there one up there?
No, there's 4.
Grand, so that's... Wait, 4?
Yeah, there's one in the hall and one in each of the rooms.
Oh, this is going to be a problem, isn't it? Now, we knew that beep was the distinct sound a fire alarm makes when its battery is dying. But the issue was, it would only beep once every half an hour. So narrowing down a single infrequent beep among a sea of 7, well, it was going to be trouble. And it was. We were tormented for a week with those little notification-like pings from hell. Oh, it was like Chinese water torture. All week, all we got was... We did try to narrow it down, but honestly, that was getting us nowhere. Was that out there? No, it wasn't this one anyway. Check with Hef. 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 Hef.
Are you calling me?
Yeah. Was that beep coming from up there?
I don't know, I had my headset on.
Honestly, with the benefit of hindsight, it was probably a couple of them dying and we were just never in the right place at the right time to catch it. So about a couple of hours short of having that beep permanently burnt into our inner monologue, we had no other choice but to head to the shop, buy 7 overpriced 9-volt batteries and replace each of them individually to ensure that this house full of immature alcoholic smokers was safe for the foreseeable future like the reasonable and smart adults that we were. Is what I would have said in the reality where we were as smart as people give us credit for. But in our reality, we're as thick as 2 black women in a pair of leggings, so we honestly didn't even consider that. Instead, myself and Hef handed the reins to PJ. Right, lad, we've tried very little and none of it seems to have worked. You're up. About time. Figured it out. What? Well, you see this bit here? Yeah? Well, that's the bit the sound is coming from. So if I'm right, then doing this should stop the beeping. Now, just got to do that 6 more times and it's job done. Are you going to give me a hand or would you rather the beeps lived on? Well, leave some for us.
Yeah, leave me the one in the hall by the bathroom. That startled me the other day and made me miss the bowl.
Wait, and the one I unclogged?
Yeah, why?
It's not important. I just remembered how much I hate you. I mean, it was the nuclear option, but drill me gently with a frozen Swiss roll if that wasn't cathartic. After days and days of torture, the feeling I felt from being able to smash those things off the wall is a high I've been chasing ever since. And I have to hand it to PJ, because it worked like a charm. But for all our individual qualities, we were always at our best when we came together as one. And the particular table you'd always find all 3 of us sat at was the table of fuckery. Sean and Sean, my dead parents' family heirlooms, Gay Tuesday, the list goes on. And by that I mean, here's another one for that list. So, when I first moved into the house with the boys, I had no bed covers. So, I raided the mother's house for stuff that I could use that'll tie me over until I got my own set. And while I was looking for stuff, I spotted a strange looking blanket buried deep in the bottom of the press. I pulled it out and it was this amazingly soft, thick throw with an image of a cheetah standing in front of an African savanna sunset. But the pattern was irrelevant because, as I said, this thing was comfy. So I asked, "Hey Ma, what's the story with the blanket at the bottom of the press?"
What blanket?
It's like brown and yellow, really soft, fairly thick. I had to dig it out from the bottom. Come on, I feel like I'm describing something to me doctor here.
Oh, the one with the African Dalmatian on it.
Dalmatian? Yeah.
Oh, my sister got me that when she was on holidays. Horrible looking joke. I don't know what the fuck she was thinking getting me that at all. You can have it.
So, thanks to good old Irish gratitude, I got myself a free comfy blanket. Of course, I eventually got myself some proper bed clothes, but this blanket didn't go to waste. Nope, it one day made its way down to the sitting room, and that's where it remained because it was a hit with the boys too. Want a power nap on the couch? It's got you. Need a pillow to prop up your head? It's got you. Forgot to call your mother and wish her a happy birthday? It's got you. There was nothing that this blanket could not do. But here's where the funny comes into it. This one night, all three of us were watching the movie Sucker Punch. Yes, I have mentioned this before for those of you with shockingly good memories. But what I didn't mention in that video, because it wasn't relevant, but it is now, was that it was a pretty cold night and all three of us were huddled under this blanket while we were watching it. Now, three handsome young men huddled together under a blanket, watching what could only be described as thinly veiled smut on the TV. It goes without saying that the comedy of it wasn't lost on us. In fact, we were leaning into it as usual and joking about it the whole way through the movie. Jesus, she's a fine looking thing. I just gotta give me leg a quick scratch there. Fuck me. Think I lost me phone there, lads. I'll just have to root for it in me pockets there. Here, have a feel of that there, will you? Oh, that feels lovely, lad. That genuine denim.
You should feel mine too.
Alright, calm down. I'm not Lana Rhodes. Get you in a second. It was because of this night filled with masturbatory humour, the blanket now had a new title. It was from then on known as The Wanket. And I do mean that because we never called it anything other than The Wanket from then on out, to the point that we lost all awareness of even saying it. We'd just say it like any other word without even so much as a hint of a giggle. And it didn't become really funny until one night Tony decided to sleep on the couch and asked,
"Hey, do you have anything I can cover myself with?"
"Yeah, hang on there and I'll grab you the Wanket." "The what?" "The Wanket." "Where is it?"
Why is it called...
"Hey, PJ. Where's the Wanket?"
Is it not in there, no?
"No, I don't see it anyway."
You know what? It's grand. I'm going to use my jacket.
"Nonsense, lad. Trust me. You'll love the Wanket. We all do."
Are you looking for this?
"Ah, there it is."
Yeah, sorry, I was using it earlier. I was watching something on my laptop.
"Nah, you're alright, thanks. You pack of odd fucks. You're the one volunteering to freeze on the couch when there's a perfectly good Wanket right there, like."
I'm not sleeping under anything called a Wanket.
"Why? What's wrong with the..." "Oh, I've just realised the problem. We were so used to calling it the Wanket that it wasn't until somebody pointed it out that we realised what we were doing. But we did then, and trust me, we did that bit at every opportunity, only now we leaned into it."
Pillow for you there, lad. I'll just grab you the Wanket.
"You mean the blanket?"
No, the Wanket.
Why is it called that?"
I'll tell you in the morning.
"No, I think I'd like to know now."
Never mind the name, lad. You'll love it. Softer than you think.
"But why is it called the
Hey, Docky, what's the Wanket like?
It's great. We've all used it. It's softer than you think."
Softer than you think, you see?
"Have you joined the fucking cult or something?" "Alright, what's going on?"
Connor's been weird about using the Wanket.
"I'm not being weird about it. I just want to know why you call it that."
I don't let the name fool you, lad. Softer than you think.
"You know what? The laddie. I'm walking home." We did have the opportunity to get our friend Lara with it too, but we felt like she had suffered enough teasing with the whole dead parents heirlooms bit, as some of you channel vets know, so we decided to be nice and spare her the further torment. Is what I would have said in a reality where we weren't a pack of assholes, but of course we got her too.
Hey, I can't get myself a taxi. Would she mind if I crashed on the couch for tonight?
Not at all, girl. We're happy to have you. Here, Ducky, throw me over the Wanket there, will you?
Did you just say the
Here you
word?
go now, girl. Wait, you're on the pill, right?
Well, yes, actually, but why?
Don't worry about it. Enjoy.
Oh, you'll sleep well under that, don't you worry. Tony and Connor shared the Wanket last week and we practically had to peel them out of it, they loved it so much.
Wait, you said it again. Why is it called...
Anyway, we won't keep you.
Lads?
Sleep well.
Lads?
Night, Lara.
Lads?
Here. Lara's using the Wanket tonight in case you're looking for it.
She's on the pill, right?
Yeah, I already asked her. Hopefully that'll be enough.
Hey, Ducky, were you not meant to wash the Wanket today?
Yeah, I was going to, but I just hit it a slap with a shoe a few times and most of it came off. So it'll be grand for another few months.
Lads? Can I get a different blanket, please?
Now, unfortunately, this is the part of the video I've been dreading. Like the head Casey, this is the part where I leave things off on a saddening note. Those of you who are wise to the rule of threes in comedy writing would have seen this coming. You've seen the two jokes I made about how 2024 is a frighteningly worse time to be alive in than 2011, and now you're hearing this speech, so you know the third most horrible thing about 2024 is that we've lost the legendary Wanket. And it kills me to say you're right. Here now, in 2024, the Wanket is no longer, after going MIA roughly around the time I moved out of the gaff with the boys.
in rubbing memory.
Is what I would have said in the reality where that rule of 3 wasn't a diversion. Because in this reality... The Wanket! She lives!
Fuck yeah, dude. A little ducky for you in the afternoon. Or in the morning. Whatever. The Real Duck Dynasty. Hell yeah. Potential Frogman there. Yes, sir. They handling their business, you guys. All right, fellas. I appreciate each and every one of you who's bothered to stop by. Dropped a comment. Shared this around with everybody you know. Subscribe to the channel. And you made sure to turn that notification bell on so you can be notified every single time we go live Monday through Friday. Right here at YouTube.com. Well, on that note, wonderful day to all of you guys. Stay out of trouble. It's a little rainy here. Hopefully, it's like sunshine on a cloudy day. A little sunshine for you here at the Hat and Beard Show. Stay out of trouble. Do anything I wouldn't do. We'll be right back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Until then, I've been Hat and Beard. You've been attentive audience. Bonga bonga. Frig off.